Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty. Look at Final Boss today. It's an image book which didn't have like a huge amount of interest from my store, but I've seen people talking about it. And I thought, yeah, okay, let's give this a read. Let's see how it flows. Let's see what's going on with it. And I am probably going to be giving this one a fair bit of criticism, I'm afraid. But before I do that, I am going to say that I will often look at intentionality, what the creators set out to do, and how well they accomplish that. Because sometimes they can do it in ways that just don't work for me, in ways that I might find a little bit derivative or repetitive. But if that's what they intended to do and it works, then I'm gonna have to say, yes, they did it. Well done. You did what you set out to do. And in this case, yes, I think they absolutely have done what they set out to do. Because it feels like, I mean, with the title like Final Boss, it feels very much like a video game that decided to make us a comic book instead of a video game. It gives me a chance to have a little bit more in way of non-action based plot and story, which is good. Get a little bit more character development, which is nice, but honestly not that much. And if you were going to make a video game, it probably would be far more of like a fighting, straight up fighting game. Like, there's not really that much else going on. If that's what they set out to do, they did it. They did it and made it look good as well. Because I've got to be honest, the artistry is brilliant. It's really quite nice. Every single individual character design is really quite cool. The over-the-top, anarchic, and dynamic fight scenes are exactly what they needed to be. They are bloody and gory to a point that makes me feel like this is somebody, if they were my age, probably started playing the Mortal Kombat games when they were far too young. Probably at an arcade where they had to literally put money in to play them. Something which I honestly don't know if kids even understand is a thing anymore. I am very old. But like I say, if that's what they intend to do, then they did it. Tick. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, even, hell, one extra thing before I move on. They even give the characters stats and have them, like, level up. I mean, in a comic book, that does feel kind of weird, but it is just so heavily leaning into the stylistic choices they've made to make it into the game they want, the comic book they want, that I'm like, yeah, okay, fair. Now, on to criticism. Number one, the characters, although they look good, and the character design does go from kind of everyday normal thing to I'm a masked adventurer, which feels kind of weird. The rest of the characters are and the story is just a little bit basic. We've got a setup where it's like, oh, some guy whose granddad in the war found some ancient temple and now he has these magic powers because of an amulet, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fair. That's just a thing that happens in video games. I mean, the idea of just a magic amulet doing stuff is so cliched that in Big Hero 6 they have one of the characters sing a song about the amulet and it's probably being green. And it's such a cliche thing from a comic book fan and a video game fan to like that kind of thing, that I was like, oh, okay, this is going very, very Route 1. Fire, if that's what you want to do, you go for it. On top of all that, we have the power fantasy of it all. I think that's probably my biggest critique of it. It feels so much like this is there in a John Wick kind of way, in a solo leveling kind of way. It is the one guy who, yes, he has friends and compatriots, but it is the solo person going off and doing his thing because he is just better, stronger, more amazing than anyone else. The fact that he used to be in special forces and he's done private security work, but he always just brushes up against authority and has to go off and do his own thing. And he's an unlicensed MMA fighter who does side jobs on the side. And this is one of those things where I thought I might find a little bit to like about it. So I'm a really big fan of the movie The Nice Guys, which has this idea of one of the characters who does take money to go and just help people out when he can because he's trying to atone for something. In this case, it feels far more like a story beat with no depth to it. It feels like somebody has put this into the story so it can be like, oh yeah, but he is still, for all these like amazing, cool radness with his mask and his gloves and his superpowers and his leveling up, he's still a guy who wants to help people out. But it is done so kind of Route 1, so one-dimensional that I have no sympathy for it. It genuinely just feels like a tack on at the end of the story when they'd finished writing, like, oh yeah, we've got to put something in so people don't just think this is the author's power fantasy writ large. He has to be more than that. He has to have something which makes him a little bit more grounded and human. And honestly, the fact that they expect people not to see through it, I feel is a little bit weird. Don't get me wrong, the people designing this comic book out will probably love it. That's it for me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.